All right, good morning and welcome to a third edition of Monday Momentum. Again, my name is Laurie McNaughton. I'm your Scale Up Biz Coach. And today I'm coming to you with another mindset lesson, which is going to be the primary focus for these Monday Momentums. It's not going to be so much about business strategy as it's going to be about mindset strategy. So that because I've been doing this for 21 years now, and I can tell you with a lot of experience that the biggest impedance or biggest barrier, obstacle, or whatever you want to call it between you and what it is that you want to achieve is goes on between these 4 inches of gray matter that resides inside your head, your mindset. And so today I'm going to talk about a very, very powerful tool that you can use to check yourself daily uh, to make sure that you're putting the best you in front of your team. So, what is that, you ask? Well, it's called above and below the line. It's a mindset shift for growth. I first came across this particular model when I was training for becoming a coach. I took to start with the franchise that I was with, a 10-day training course. And what this is one of the lessons that they taught us there was above and below the line. Now they shared it a little bit differently than how I'm sharing it. So I'm adding a little bit of my own experience in with this, but to sort of tie into this for people who might follow Tony Robbins. Literally, when I came across Tony Robbins in the early 90s, he had a program called 30 Days to Personal Power, which I ordered, came in cassette tapes. Sort of dating myself there, but that's okay. Um, he talked about personal power. And, when I learned about above and below the line, it was obvious to me that above the line, you're exercising your personal power. Below the line, you're giving your personal power away to somebody else. So if you look at the sort of the key words on above the line are ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And when you stay above the line, you become curious about, what could I do? What's possible here? What do I need to learn? So you start having this sort of, as it says here, possibility thinking, and you empower yourself to go and learn and go that extra mile. And just to tie back to the be do have that I did 2 weeks ago, to become the person that your company needs you to be in order for it to grow and expand and scale up and really not suck the life out of you. Now, below the line, we got blame, excuses, and denial. And I mean, if you just think about that for a second, do you like it when your team blames somebody else because of something that really they should take responsibility for? Or do you like it when your team makes excuses? Uh, and excuses are a dime a dozen. And the one that I hear the most is some kind of time excuse. And frankly, that just doesn't cut it. Time excuse, I didn't have time. Um, you've got to look at the things that you're doing in your business. You've got to be really cognizant of what's sucking away your time that adds no value. So don't ever use the excuse of I didn't have time. There's always time. And you can become a slave to time, or you can make time work for you. So the other thing is living in denial. And what does that really mean, living in denial? Here's the thing, like we can get used to a lot of things, and they just seem like it's just the norm. And I'll use an example of a guy that I spoke with a number of years ago who had a small company and he galvanized steel for the oil patch. And when I first sat down to talk to him, he was telling me how great things were. And then after we talked for a while, he was working 7 days a week. In fact, he was actually sleeping at his shop every once in a while. That's denial. Um, you know, good. things are going good is, I get to take weekends off. I get to take vacations and I'm making a really great living here. And I got a great group of people working for me. That's good. Working 7 days a week, sleeping at the office some days is not good. So this below the line creates a level of closed-mindedness where you really don't engage with your the prefrontal cortex of your brain, which is the thinking part of your brain, and you instead uh, have this victim mindset where it's not my fault. But just think about that for a second. I really want this to hit home because it's really, really impactful. Is above the line, I take ownership. I'm accountable. And if I'm going to succeed or fail, it's going to be my responsibility. I'm giving myself personal power. It's your fault. I didn't have time to do this. Things are going, whatever, is giving away my ability to do something about it. So keep that in mind as we go through the rest of this lesson. So I I love this image. Big change. This is what I'm all about. Well, I'm looking for clients who want to have big change. I don't want clients that want little changes. Now, having said that, I am going to launch at the end of this, probably maybe the end of this week, but by the end of this month for sure, uh, an online course for small businesses. And when I say small business, I'm talking about between startup and somewhere around a million, million five in there somewhere, because I know at that level, uh, there's a lot of frustration going on. So this course can help walk you through some of those challenges and set you up with a foundation that will help you take your business to the next level and not have it consume your life. So big, big change. I'm looking for clients that want to go, hey, listen, I want multiple locations, or, we're really stuck in the mud here and we need to get out of this so that we can move forward quickly. Those are the one-on-one clients that I want to work with. So explore how this line helps us become more aware of and shifts our mindset and then leads your team with clarity and courage. When you stay above the line, you take ownership, you hold yourself accountable, and you take responsibility. You're teaching your team to do the same. When you blame, when you make excuses, or you just out and out deny, you're giving your team all the tools they need to be mediocre or less. So let's really work together to cause and make big change. So I'm going to dive in as deep as we can on this, and I got to keep aware of the time here for you. This line is a powerful mental model for assessing whether your current mindset is helpful or whether it's limiting you. And so you can ask yourself if you're in the middle of a meeting, or if you're, about to have a meeting, or you're going to talk to a customer, or you're going to talk to a supplier, or you're going to talk to a marketing company, you're going to talk to any kind of support company that you might work with, and you just say, what does it mean? How does this conversation stay above the line? How do I take ownership, accountability, and responsibility, and own this? Because that's how you're going to affect change. Or if you feel like, oh man, I just blamed my employee, or I blamed, God forbid, your customers, I've blamed a supplier, you know, understand this from the perspective of, yeah, you might have a bad employee, you might have a bad supplier, but blaming them doesn't help anything. It's taking ownership of that and saying, what do we need to do to make this work? What do we need to do to create more success? How can we work together? Because you, Mr. or Mrs. Employee, I want you to succeed. I want you to have success. Or Mr. Supplier, I want this to work out. It's best for me to have this work out. It's best for you to have this work out. What can we do together to make sure that we can seamlessly solve these challenges that we're having? And you go away from being that defensive victim mindset where it really, as I said, you're giving away your personal power to somebody else to solve your issues. And really above the line equals growth and leadership, better relationships, and improved performance of your team. Below the line is stagnation, conflict, poor communication, victimhood. So that's how you can kind of tell whether you're being above the line or below the line. If you feel like your business is stagnant right now and there's a lot of conflict and the communication isn't great, and you've got all these people who wander around in victim land, then your business is probably below the line and you're probably below the line. And it's, again, taking ownership, accountability, responsibility, say, you know what? That's absolutely true. I have been below the line. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my company. It doesn't serve my family. It doesn't serve my team. It doesn't serve my customers. It doesn't serve anybody. So every time I get into any kind of a situation, I'm going to sit down and write down, what do I need to do to make sure that I stay above the line? So I kind of talked about this already. Use this model to check with your mindset. Am I being open? Am I being curious? And am I being responsible and empowering? Or am I closed down and being defensive and pointing the finger at other people? And because doing that, you're accepting this victim mentality. So instead of building a bridge for people, you're removing that bridge and making it impossible for you to succeed at the highest level. So, common workplace examples are reacting to feedback versus being proactive about it. Um, Leading your team above the line, handling a setback above the line. So you can literally ask yourself this question: am I above the line or below the line right now? And what would ownership look like in this moment if I was to take ownership? Uh, in the I'm going to be posting this onto my YouTube channel as well. So if you happen to watch this on your YouTube channel, I'd love to hear, any stories that or examples of where you said, I stayed above the line and this is what I was able to accomplish. Or, in the past, I used to suffer from being below the line, and this is what I created, but this is how we solved it by staying above the line. So as it says here, I don't know why it matters is because our mindset really shapes our actions, and then our actions create the results that we get. So if you operate above the line, yeah, it helps us grow and connect with other people and to lead other people effectively. It's a pretty simple concept when you really dive down and think about it. And as it says here, you can't change what you're not aware of. And when you're below the line, you're not even searching and trying to become aware. So commit commit to staying above the line. I got to share this little bit thing with you because when I did my training back in, I think it was December of 2003, at the end of the coach training, all of the people that were taking training at that particular time voted for who stayed above the line the most during those 10 days. And well, you can't really see that too well. No, you can't. Here. It's impossible to see. Anyway, I'll take ownership of that. I was voted the person who stayed most above the line. And I have to say that it served me well because in my journey in my coaching practice, there's the ups and downs that go with that. And I saw so many times because this organization, a pretty large organization, at any given time there was 800 to 1,000 coaches in the system, and we would have weekly conference calls to talk about how do we keep moving forward, and some people just would slide below the line and they have to go into the blame game. And I saw those people leave the organization at some point in time. And when there was some really difficult times, I just said, if I'm going to succeed at this, it's going to be up to me. It's not going to be because of uh, the organization. It's not going to be because of the people that I'm with. It's not going to be because of the potential clients or clients. It's going to be because of me. And when I took that highest level of accountability, it rocketed my practice into, as I've talked about in other videos, being an award-winning coach and being in the top 10% of those 800 to 1,000 coaches on a regular basis. Um, so really accepting responsibility. And, again, I've been doing this for 21 years. So uh, this isn't the only time that I've had to remind myself, probably those times weren't the only time that I had to remind myself to stay above the line. I got into a business deal with I'm going to, I don't know exactly what to call them other than he just lied to me openly on a regular basis. And it cost me a pile of money. And I thought, I went into the blame mode with this person. But it wasn't until I said, you know what? You made the decision to do that. You took this action. What do you need to do to turn this around? And so I did that, and I've turned it around, and I'm back in a really happy place and working to do something that I love to do, which is really to change people's lives and not only change people's lives by getting them to stay above the line, to look at things from a different perspective, but to help them really shift the way that they approach their entire business. And as I've said in other videos, clients who are working 7 days a week, there's one guy in particular that literally works 1 or 2 days a week out of the month because he off climbing mountains and hiking and doing all kinds of interesting things like that. And another guy that pops into my mind here who went from 8 to $21 million, but also was working a lot of hours, is now 2, 3 days a week, and making more money than he's ever made in his entire life. And he has a great team of people and working for him. And part of that is because he stays above the line. We talk every other week, and he always accepts responsibility for everything. So um, let me look at the time. Yeah, you've got to be stay aware of where you're at, and then correct yourself and just say, you know what? If it's going to be successful, it's going to be me that drives this. I'm not giving away my personal power to somebody else. So real world applications, you respond better to feedback on people when you stay above the line. You lead with clarity and empathy, and you handle challenges constructively because it's not about blaming other people. It's about how do we solve this? How do we work together to solve this? And you model this level of responsibility for your whole entire team, which changes how your team sees you. They don't see you as a victim, or they don't see you as someone who's, I'm going to go into that in other videos. That's more related to coaching, one-on-one, so to speak, but to really get your team to go, yeah, I will follow this person anywhere. And that's what you want. That's the level of commitment that you want. So ask yourself this question. So you can, if you're watching this on YouTube or um, I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to think about this is what are you, pardon me, where are you operating below the line? And what's one small shift you could make this week? I'm not going to give you 5 minutes. I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to think about that. I'm just going to set a timer on my phone here. And oops. And I'll give you 2 minutes to write down where are you at? Where are you operating below the line and what shift do you need to make this week? So just take a couple of minutes to write that down. Okay, that's a couple of minutes. I want to make a point here because you sometimes, and I know because from my own personal experiences, sometimes the emotions can be overwhelming and make it difficult for you to think above the line. So what I would suggest you do is for those of you who don't already, get yourself, this doesn't work where you get a journal and just write your thoughts down there and remind yourself to stay above the line. Okay, so let's keep moving along here. So when you're sitting down and you're working with your team and you talk about this above and below the line, and just ask them, what resonated with you? Well, what's one shift you could make this week to stay above the line? Um, so if just let me look here for a second. We don't have enough time to do any sharing right now because we're going to be out of time here momentarily. But just like this above and below line, first of all, get a grasp on it for yourself. Like really just think about this. Take your journal out, print off above and below the line and just look at it and think about it and think about your business and think about where you went below the line and think about how you're going to keep yourself above the line and recognize when you're going below the line and then pulling yourself back up above the line. We all have to do it. Life is never a straight line. It goes up and then it goes down, it goes up and it goes down. There's a quote, I think it was Richard Nixon that said this, but it's probably somebody else that said it as well. It's like you can't enjoy the peaks if you've never been in the valley. So if you've never felt what it's like to for it to be difficult, it's hard to enjoy when it's really, really going well. And if you sort of get into this place where it's always going well, then I think you're probably gone a little bit into below the line in denial, and meaning that you're not seeing it as clearly as you should see it. And the only reason I'm talking about this is like the impact that I've seen it happen, first of all, for myself over the years, but also for all the clients that I've worked with. This is a cornerstone of the teaching that I do with my clients. So um, make sure that you stay above the line. Oh, by the way, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to put in the comment section, um, a time when you know that you don't have to be really clear. It's up to you, however, how much you really feel comfortable sharing, but a time when you knew you went below the line and then when you know you went above the line and the difference that it made for you in your life. Okay. So this is the wrap up here. Uh, as it says here, awareness gives us a choice. And when you think about things and you struggle with things, but you become aware of those rather than just sort of going through it in a trance, if I could call it that, you know, going into work, working, going home, struggling at home, going to bed, not sleeping well. Awareness is a choice. So choose to be aware and then just practice noticing when you slip below the line and shift your mindset back above the line and practice this mindfully for this week. And then promise yourself that the next week you'll do it again. Because the more you do it, the easier it'll be for you to stay above the line. And as I said, when you stay above the line, your team is inspired by that. And again, the good people on your team, and I want to be because I love all people. There's just some people I don't like. But I think the point that I want to make is that if you have an employee who just you've given them really good opportunity to pull their socks up and start being a productive part of the team, and you've given them chances over and over again, it might be time to help them find employment elsewhere. I'm at for time. Uh, to help them find employment elsewhere. Because if you think about it, if you got 10 good people and two of them are, below the line all the time, and you just everything you've done worked hard to get them to come above the line, they just won't come above the line. Help them find employment elsewhere. Look for people who would be champions of your business. That's how you grow and excel, and that's how you create a business that can run without you. So that's the lesson of Above and Below the Line for this Monday Momentum. I want to thank you all for joining me here today, and I trust that you got great value from this. Apply it in your everyday life and watch how things change quickly and dramatically. And what was I gonna? There was something. Oh, this is the thing I never say. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Apparently, that goes a long way to improving the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be posting our Monday Momentum here each and every week so you can access these lessons. And again, this is all about mindset. I do have other videos that I've created around systems and processes inside businesses that will help them scale up without, consuming your life. So please feel free to watch them at your convenience and comment in the comment sections. I'd love to hear your feedback because I want to be the best that I can be. And so if somebody finds that I'm not being the best that I can be, I'm happy to hear about it because I want to learn from it. And on that note, so like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Monday Momentum. Take care and have yourself a spectacular day.